In a recent video, I shared with you various different ways that you can work with oracle cards, apart from divination. So for spell work, for meditation, for path workings, for various different things. In this video, I wanted to talk about tarot spells, and in particular, introduce you to a book called Tarot Spells by Janina Renee. But before I dive in, hi, I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com. If you're new to the channel and you want to learn Wicca or witchcraft, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any videos. So in this book here about tarot spells, you get a variety of different themes to do spells on using your tarot deck. Now, it doesn't really matter what type of tarot deck you have, although the imagery in this book is based on tarot packs that are related to the Waite-Smith deck. So it's more helpful if you've got a tarot deck that has that Waite-Smith imagery as the basis, which a lot of tarot decks actually do have. But if you've got something that's completely different, work with the imagery on the cards that you have. And if you've got a tarot deck that deviates a bit from the standard tarot card meanings, then work with the deck that you have. So there's various different spells. There's also chants that you can do for the various different spells. There's spells for love. There's spells to find a home. There's spells for your general everyday stuff that you would do magic for. What I like about this book is that, again, it is simple. It's easy if you are a beginner to be able to pick up and use with your tarot deck. And it's also a good way to learn your tarot cards as well. So if you're wanting to work with your tarot for divination, but you're struggling with the meanings, doing spell work with your tarot cards is a good way to learn a little bit more depth about your cards and what the meanings of the cards can be, because some of your cards can be used for various different things. You may find in this book that there's some cards that turn up for different spells. So tarot cards have various different meanings to each card. So it'll help guide you as to how you can work with the different meanings of your cards as well. So it's not just showing you to do a layout for a particular spell result, it's also teaching you about the meaning of your cards as well. So with this book, you will get your layouts for various different spells, things to say as you're laying the cards out, which of course you can deviate from to make it more specific to yourself. And it also allows you to have that room to maneuver, to tweak your spells yourself, which is what I've done with pretty much most of any of the spells that I've taken from this book. I've usually changed them or tweaked them to suit what I want and how I relate to the cards, because some of the cards you may not relate to in the same way that she relates to them. So it might be a different sort of energy for you with a particular card. So always look at how you resonate with your cards when you lay them out or when you're choosing them before you do your spell. Just think about the card meanings and how you relate to the cards to make sure that you are selecting the cards that have that meaning for you. What's good about tarot spells is that it's visual. So if you're a visual person, which a lot of people are, it can help you focus your energy, help focus your concentration and your intention on something that is visual. You can tell a story with a tarot spell. You can see the progression from one card to the other of a spell. And this book will help you see how to use different cards together and how certain cards together can help with a particular meaning. So again, it also helps with divination. So you can see cards coming together and how they relate to each other. It just gives you a little bit more depth and a little bit more of a fun way to learn your tarot cards, playing with magic as well. Of course, with any type of magic, you can add things to this. You can add herbs to your card spells. You can add crystals to your spells. You can add candles to your spells. You don't have to just have the tarot cards. You can certainly add other forms of correspondences to your magic. But this book is really focusing on tarot cards themselves. I find some of the spells a bit limited in this book. I have often gone through it and the things that I've wanted to do magic for aren't necessarily in here. So I do find that it's a little bit limited. But the sorts of things that it does help you with is spells for working with families, enemies, farms and gardens, friends, health and healing, houses and homes, jobs and job hunting, legal undertakings, love and romance. There's quite a few topics. There's just not necessarily a lot of spells under those topics. But again, it's a good beginner's book because it just helps you learn how to put your cards together. So even if you just use this, a couple of spells out of it, and get a sense of how she is working with the different card combinations together, you can then start to learn how to form your own tarot spells. So think of this as a good guide to teach you how to work the cards together to help you with a spell, particularly if you find that you can't find anything in here that's really suited to your circumstances, as I've done. But it's still a really, really good resource for teaching you how to work with the tarot cards, for divination, and of course also for spell work. When it comes to your spell books, like the books that you'll buy that give you various different spells for different things and give you the ingredients and the chants and everything to do, always take these spells that you're given in these books as lessons into how to craft spells, because you're going to find your circumstances are unique to you, and picking a spell out of a book may work, but often you'll find you'll have to tweak it, or you may be in the middle of doing the spell and then you'll feel like you want to tweak it and take it in some other way or add something to it, because we're all different, and a spell in a book isn't necessarily going to resonate with your circumstances. So they're a good place to start, and they're a good learning tool. So definitely, there are other books out there on tarot spells. This just happens to be the one that I found in a bookshop. And grab those books and learn how to do the spells yourself. Learn how the cards are working together. Ask yourself, why did she choose these particular cards for this particular spell? And if you know the meanings of the cards, you can sit there and maybe meditate on the cards and see if you can connect the meanings with the cards. So if you're selecting a particular spell and you go and select the cards that she suggests in your spells, sit there and go, well, why these cards? Why select these ones? What do they mean? How do they feel to me when I look at them? When I look at them, do they bring that sense of the spell to life for me? Or do I feel that I may resonate with maybe a different card, or maybe that card doesn't resonate with me at all? Or maybe you've got a few different tarot decks and you may find that for your spell work you may want to use more than one deck in your spell, because you're wanting to bring a card from one deck that really resonates with you for that meaning, but in another deck, another card's going to resonate for the next card meaning, because all the card decks are different. So mix and match your cards when you're doing spell work. Or you may just want to have one set of tarot cards that you use specifically for your spell work. I've got a couple of decks that I prefer to use for spell work, and others that I prefer to use for divination. So it just depends, but use these books as learning tools to help you learn how to construct a spell, how to construct the chants, because her chants are pretty good, and how these things work together. Take these as a learning tool so that you can then start to construct your own spells and get better at your own spell crafting, because it's something that is going to be unique to you. you're going to find some types of spells work better for you than others. Different types of magic's going to work more for you. You're going to resonate more with certain types of spell genres than others. So definitely experiment and find out what it is that you like to do. I love working with candles and colour. I like working with the tarot cards, but I'm not a visual person predominantly, so I don't necessarily need a visual stimulus there for me to be able to work with magic. So it's something that I have experimented with, but it's not something I use a lot. I don't do a lot of tarot magic, but it is fun to do, and they're definitely fun things, tarot cards. And if you have downloaded the Spellcaster checklist that I have as a PDF that's free for you to download off my website, you'll be able to use that when you're choosing your spells from this book, or if you're tweaking the spells from this book, or using this as a guide to how to construct your own tarot spells. You can also use the Spellcaster checklist to make sure that you are really thinking about your spell work in the way that you need to think about it in order for your spells to be more successful. The link to that will be in the description field below this video. It is called the Spellcaster checklist. If you like the video, hit the like button, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com. Blessed be.